Well, as noted, it's catch as catch can. Here I am at the airport doing the best I can to keep bringing you the news as I see it. Listen, you probably already know that Tesla was up strongly today, continued up strongly in the after hours, and I'll take a look at that in just a minute and see if that continued. But what in the heck? Why is Tesla up today? Well, let's take a look at a few really strong things that you may have heard about, maybe didn't hear about. First of all, Ron Barrons had an interview today. It's gotten a lot of attention, super bullish, talking about the stock is just going to go up from here, talked about kind of the multiples that he sees for the future. But he also was asked specifically over and over again by by the interviewer. He says, well, when will we actually see, robotaxis, when we will really see full self-driving able to drive a vehicle? And his statement was now. It's just a straightforward now. So that would be one reason. I think that interview was actually excellent. I think he did a great job. Then CATL has announced a brand new battery. It can get 350 miles of range with just a 10-minute charge. And it can also go up to, where did I lost my notes here? About 600 and something, 620 miles, 620 miles on a full charge. So this will be a ultra fast charging. Um, and I'm suggesting that maybe when Elon was speaking the other day about protecting his suppliers, he might have had this in mind as well. So this will be pretty exciting. Wonder how this is going to impact over the next year. But one thing it's going to do for sure, it's just one more signal that we're getting to the end of the ice age. These batteries are going to be cheaper, higher performance, faster charging. When we get the charging, a significant charge down to 10 minutes, what are we really talking about in terms of the difference between a filling station and a supercharger station? So then there were those who are looking at it technically, and they're saying that 175 is really a test. And if we pass the 175, the next level is going to be closer to 200. Jeff Lutz mentioned that last night as well. So we're really close to 175, may even be over it by the time I get done with reading this. So Troy Teslike says he agrees with, well, he didn't say that he agreed with Jeff and I, but I'm saying he agrees with Jeff and I that we're going to have supervised ride hailing first and soon. We're not going to go straight to a driverless vehicle, but the ride hailing service will begin with a driver supervising. I just think it makes so much sense. Cathie Wood has been talking about it for 2 years. I think that's what was talked about in the letter. I think that's what was talked about in the comments. I think that's where we're headed, and probably very soon. Maybe not. Maybe it'll be August 8th, but I think it could be really, really soon. Kobesi says today, he says, for those who don't understand what just happened, well, first of all, Q1 2024 GDP growth slowed to just 1.6, which is less than half of last quarter, and also way under, for instance, 50% below Goldman Sachs' expectations and 30-something% less than the polled members were citing. But it gets even worse, says Kobesi. At the same time, the U.S. core PCE price index soared from 2% to a staggering 3.7%. This crushed estimates of 3.4 and further suggests that inflation is on the rise. I'm a little confused. You might be a little confused too, as he's talking about the core PCE price index when the PCE price index comes out tomorrow. But anyway, maybe I'm confused because I am on vacation. Let me know in the comments below. All right, so what do we have now? We have a weakening economy with rising inflation. What do you call that? I think it's called stagflation. This is not a good situation. It's the worst possible outcome for the Fed. Employment is still high. No reason to cut because of that. Inflation is still high. No reason to cut because of that. The economy is starting to slow down, apparently, and every reason to believe that it's going to continue to slow down. Second quarter, who knows? We'll see what happens the second quarter, but the third and fourth quarter is going to be very, very hard to beat last year's numbers because, as you probably have heard me say a couple of times before, or maybe 27 times before, last year, the government was spending huge amounts of additional money in the third and fourth quarter, which is what bumped this up into the 5% plus range. And that's how are you going to beat those numbers in the third and fourth quarter? Government's not going to be back with another big bump like that. So how does the Feds respond to this? I continue to say no cuts this year unless we see a significantly worse GDP, or if we start to see the labor numbers starting to become softer. To that point, we also had initial jobless claims today, and the initial jobless claims were at 205 or 207,000 again. They've been the same now for like 8 weeks in a row, 8 weeks in a row. They haven't really had much variation for about a quarter or longer. I really wonder about these job numbers. There's something wrong. Something is fishy. I'm not sure, but maybe not. Maybe it's just a weird anomaly. All right, a weird anomaly. I think that's what is it? What do you call that when you say something unnecessarily? All right. So what is going to happen? I think the consumer is going to run out of money. Starting to hear more and more people saying that the consumer is going to run out of money. And there was evidence of that in the numbers today on the GDP, because there were people that were not spending on the big dollar items, the things that they don't absolutely have to say they're staying away from right now. Because why? Well, they need the money for the groceries and for gasoline and for other consumables and things that they must have. And those have gone up so much in price. I think inflation will begin to cool rapidly if the consumer stops spending. That's probably going to happen, but that starts a vicious cycle. And I think that is what spooked the markets today. So let's take a look at where the markets are right now. Let's start, of course, with Tesla, which was up 805 today in regular trading. The Dow was down 375, NASDAQ down 100, S&P down 23. The Magnificent Seven, NVIDIA was up 29, Apple was up a tad, but the rest of the Magnificent Seven were down, including Meta down 52 and Microsoft down 10. See how Tesla is doing in the after hours. Now up another 203, so short of that 175. As you know, I'm not a technicalist. I am only reporting on what other technical folks are talking about. All right, let's go ahead and take a look. I'm sure we had some bond action today, right? We already know that there was heavy duty bond action today. And let's take a look at where that was. We had the 10-year in the after hours, or the pre-market now, is down 0.2 basis point. But if we look at the day, on the day, the 10-year ended up at 4.7, up very strongly. The 2-year is at 5% at this point, but that's only a 30 basis point difference. That's interesting. That has shrunk. And the 2-month is now at 5.393. So that is under 70 basis points again. Wow, that's pretty interesting. Again, hard to know how to call all this stuff, but I'm going to suggest that that is something that could be also more evidence. As those numbers shrink, some people say that's when we have to look at the recession coming. All right, let's go on to the oil market. The oil patch, I think it's probably down. Well, actually, in the pre-market, it's up 19 cents. It's down though at 83.76. Brent at 89.30. Boy, that's almost $6 splitting those again. You know what? On vacation, I don't have time to go deep. I'm so sorry. I'd like to know what it is that's got the Brent and the Texas Intermediate now almost back to $6 difference. That is extremely interesting. All right, natural gas down 2.26% at $1.60. I did hear earlier yesterday that the gasoline numbers are dropping and the reserves are good, but that would say that oil should be down even more. Anyway, not sure. All right, let's go on to gold. Gold up to 20, still sitting just about 2,344, which is about $90 less than its all-time high. Copper up another bit, 0.51% at 454. That is in the pre-market. I don't know what it did during the day. The dollar is flat, sagging a little bit today on the news. I guess the news that maybe the recession is back on the table and that the price but however, if we don't think interest rates are going to get cut, then it would seem like the dollar would be strong. Yeah, could go both ways there. We've got Bitcoin at 64,605, up 369. for the day so far. And then the equities going into the pre-market. We've got the Dow up 34 or 0.09. We've got S&P up 40 or 0.79. NASDAQ up 207 or 1.18. That's super interesting. Let's go to the trouble to go back to the stocks and see what is going on there, because Tesla's not, the $2.21 in Tesla is not causing that. Let's see what we got. Let's look at Google. Oops, here we go. We got Google up 19. Google up 19. Okay, there we go. Alphabet shares jumped 14% on earnings beat and their first ever dividend. Okay, there, I would have missed that entirely. I forgot that Alphabet was going to be having their earnings report after the close of business. So up 19. Google hit their numbers. Google impressed. Let's see about Amazon. Amazon up 629. So they're doing well in the after hours as well. And then we've got Meta, which is down 52 during the day, up a little bit, recovering some in the after hours. We have got Microsoft up 1796. So they also did well in their earnings. Top Wall Street targets driven by AI investment. I'll try to have more for you in the morning. I can't even guarantee you there will be a show in the morning because we're now in Philadelphia, the city of brotherly love, the city of the Constitution. We got to figure out what our plans are for tomorrow, what we're going to get to go see. I really want to see the Franklin stuff in this town. And I'm sorry about the background noise. Nothing I can do about it. All right, that explains why the NASDAQ is up extremely strongly with both Microsoft and Alphabet with a big beat. All right, that's all I got for you tonight. I hope to see you at least once each day, but I can't promise anything. It's been great talking to you.